Hello everybody and welcome back to Eve and Back. I am recording this after the launch of the Eve plane, but before the landing of the Eve plane, so I have no idea what episode this is going to be. It might be 3, it might be 4. But anyway, we know how we're going to get to and off of Eve. Now I want to plan about what we're going to be doing on Eve. So in episode 2, I mentioned wanting to try and fly around or boat around all those little islands. The issue is that even with a fast boat, it will still take a long time. And even with the propeller plane, it will still take a long time. So what I want to do is I want to have a rocket plane that can hold 1 or 2 or 3 people and can refuel itself. And then have it carry a really, really small airplane around. Or maybe a paramotor. Maybe I could do a paramotor. Anyway, that'll allow us to get to faraway places with the rocket plane pretty quickly, although it'll take time to refuel. And then explore locally with the paramotor without having to use up a bunch of fuel. So I think I'm going to start for the paramotor so I know how big I have to build the cargo bay. I haven't built a paramotor before, so I can use this. I can use one of these as the base. To have a seat, obviously. That's important. Except the issue with this is I won't have a flag to plant on each place. So I'll have to go back to the mothership every time I want to get a new flag. Because I don't want to make an actual light plane. Paramotor would be cool. If the paramotor doesn't work out, I'll build a light plane. We could make it a rover maybe as well. There's because these are the smallest wheels that I can put on a rover. These are the smallest wheels I can put. Actually, no, the plane wheels are kind of smaller. But what if I made it a unicycle? And then just always be careful when I landed it. Then of course the solar panels, because I'll need those. Anyway, I still have to add a way to reattach this back to the mothership, but that'll come later. Okay, so paramotor version 1. I think I've already broken a bunch of the solar panels. Nope, okay, they're fine. But I do have to worry about breaking the solar panels. Do these small wheels have brakes? No, they don't have brakes. That is a major issue. I need to have brakes on this. If I don't have brakes on this, it's not going to work very well. This is not very stable, and it's braking, and oh my goodness, it's braking. But hey, we're kind of... Yeah, okay. So everything completely failed, but I think I'm on the right track. What if we landed on a skid? We could have one of these, and then one of those be our rear landing gear, and have it just slight incline so it wants to take off. And it's too back heavy. But if SAS is on, oh boy, parachute. Aha! Yo, look at, oh man, too much thrust, too much drag on the chute. So if we throttle down, hey, we can, it rolls around like crazy due to the torque of the propeller. Yeah, this is going to be difficult to manage if we don't, have something to deal with the propeller torque. If we don't have dual contra-rotating propellers, I don't really find flying this enjoyable. We can land it fairly well, and that'll be even better on Eve, so again, we're on the right track, it just needs tweaking. What if we put 2 of them like that, and it's still too back heavy, and it's still too much power? Maybe we need to add some aerodynamic control to this thing. Bruh, this is faster than the scout plane. Assuming I can keep it straight. I think I'm gonna need to just strip this thing down and have another go at a complete redesign. And it doesn't really matter if it's heavier. It's already too fast for its own good. Okay, paramotor V3. Yeah, I think those should still go higher up, especially seeing how high the Kerbal is. Bruh, I might get this thing supersonic if it keeps accelerating like this. You know what? I might have enough mass margin that I can build both the paramotor and the light plane, and then fly them around and see which one I like better. Okay. This is more difficult to control than the last version. It might improve when we're going faster, but low speed handling is just awful. New idea. I'm ripping everything out. I'm putting in a Mark I cockpit. And I'm going to try and make this thing a helicopter, sort of, that can also rotate its things to transition to level flight. Because I think the parachute is the thing that's holding us back here. It's cool, and I might still bring it, Okay, so we want the propellers lined up mostly on the center of mass, but the issue is that that will get in the way of the door. And that's probably far enough to not interfere. Is hatch marked as obstructed? No, it's not, but it still might cause issues. Why is it doing that? Oh, it's only controlling one of these. If I press 1, it'll slowly transition to vertical. We should probably make that a bit quicker. And if I throttle up, it's currently... Oh, and it's not going to stay there. I messed it up. This should work. I've said that a lot, haven't I? And it goes backward. It shouldn't go backwards. Steven gets angry at a video game for 2 hours episode. It should be fixed. It should work. I said that again. But press 1. It should stay there. Yes, it worked. I need to increase the rate, but at least that's working. And aha, it's working. Those puny little blades are lifting this huge thing up. Kerbal Space Program is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits. This isn't enough, nearly enough lift. Help. I need to go faster. Okay. Yeah, to be fair, I did put an optimistically little wing area on that. Honestly, if I'd stuck with the paramotor, it would probably be perfected by now. Okay, that's going a bit faster now. And we can see this thing can get going a pretty decent speed. 3.6 is a good value for it, just like it was for the other propeller plane. That was a soda bottle. Well, it startled me too. This thing works, but it kind of looks stupid. Kind of quick save while about to crash. Are you really going to be like that game? Are you really that pessimistic? That one actually is a bit backwards. Alright. It just won't descend now. Okay. What if I said to like 2.5? 2.5 appears to be a good landing number. Although on Eve it may be different because the atmosphere is different and whatnot. The thing is, throttle doesn't do anything. Like, I have to control it with this, which is awful. I mean, I did that in the speedruns too, so it's not that awful, but like, throttled with the cow controller. Help. It's like, if I do Z and X with this, it'll kind of work. There. Oh, we bounced. Help. Okay. Yeah. That works. See? And that's a very comfortable angle, it looks like there. Yeah, I'll need to work on ingress and egress. Can I even get back in? There, I push it over. And I can just press F to climb there, which is great. But I can't really get back in because I'd have to go over there. Okay, I can just barely get back in, but I wouldn't trust it. So we'll have to move the yaw stabilizers. What about landing on like non-flat terrain? Can we do that? Like, there's a good slope over here we can test it on. We can't afford to touch this down very aggressively because the landing gear has such a high impact tolerance. Like that. I mean, we're just going to tumble now and break the solar panels and the rudders and the wings. But as far as landing goes, we can land on a slope. We just can't stop after that. One thing we need to do was fix the landing gear stance. So put these out as far as possible to get the best triangle. Who are kidding though, the relay network is the best triangle. And then we can, it's a bit cheeky, but we can kind of put these there. And then board via there. We can offset this 1 unit forward, then offset this 1 unit back. We can put that cal there, and that cal there, and We still need to figure out a way to attach this. So what if I put like a docking port back there and tried to land it on something? What if we wanted to be stupid and try and do a horizontal takeoff? 50 meters per second. Yes, we can, assuming we have a flat runway. Will it even fit in a Mark III? The propellers are just too wide for that, just barely. I have a perfect aircraft, it's just too wide. Well, I don't have high hopes. But we can try this. Okay, detach. Then activate VTOL mode. Set this cal to 2.6. Yeah, that's gonna clang against the edges of the bay. Now if we set to 2.5, we will gently fall at 5 meters per second. And we need to try and get into the bay. And we're not gonna make it on this one. Don't worry, I just need practice. Easy. There. We're in the bay. So now, if I open shield, and oh, of course we're gonna ruin our wings. That's a no-go. The cargo bay is too narrow. This is the widest cargo bay in the game, and the plane's too wide for it. Unless we eliminated like the battery on the back, that might make it slightly shorter, and the center of mass might be moved a bit forward. Center of mass, center of lift. The monopropellant doesn't change the center of mass at all because it's basically at the center of mass. The center of mass is slightly forward, so I can inch the propeller forward slightly. And then it's out of the way of the door, so I can make it slightly narrower. But now the issue is that it'll interfere with the, I could tuck these blades in a little bit. Why did I ever choose to become an engineer? So the fact that the blades are closer in means they won't produce as much lift, so the flight characteristics of this vehicle have changed slightly, and it's not. Why can't it just work? The issue is that I tried to attach these to the side of this servo, which won't work because that side of the servo isn't the spinny side of the servo. I want to grab the spinny part, not the spinny part. And it deleted my other cal setting again. Why does it do that? And of course it's being... okay. There's promising signs there, I just didn't configure my cal controller correctly. If you can't tell, I'm getting really, really, really annoyed with this thing. We look to be coming in fairly straight, if a bit fast. Yep, this one is 2.5 is still gently down. Okay, brakes, we're in. Okay, the wall-mounted docking port is still slightly too high. Okay, move that one blip down and try again. I'm gonna have to quick load so much on Eve with this thing. Why are you... These things are way overpowered compared to what they would do in real life. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Ooh, back forth. Okay, alright. Okay, ooh, we lost 2 blades. But if we open... If we manage to land successfully, will it dock? Yes, it will, and it'll ditch the launch clamps for some reason. I don't feel like designing the mothership right now. Hi, I'm back now. I'm not sure why this thing is floating on launch clamps, unless I forgot to delete why they both. This is a disaster. Anyway, so this thing is the self-refueling exploration plane. I designed it off camera because I didn't feel like recording it. This is the first test flight. So the idea is that this will fly around Eve on rocket power, and fly around carrying the plane, like the little plane we just built in the cargo bay. And hopefully make long hops that plane can't like make. Now this isn't the greatest test because Eve is a lot worse for rockets than this thing, than Kerbin. So there's no way we'd get like this sort of range on Eve. But I don't want to like cheat test it, because we not about that. Because like this thing can all single stage to orbit on Kerbin. But anyway, the idea is to like get to a high altitude, or high enough, get to a high speed, boost, and then just glide. It can probably make, it might even be able to make suborbital hops on Eve. Probably not, like, unless you start from a super high mountain. Okay, we are going to cut thrust. I couldn't find the X key. Oh, with 40 meters per second left. That's perfect, just like in case we need to do a go around. Test reentry, glide, and test refueling, which means we're going to need a time warp a lot, but we'll revert, so it'll be fine. Because if this takes like a year to refuel itself, it's not going to be worth it. Like, ideally, it would be a few days, but it's going to be way more than that. Especially since we'll have like no control over the ore levels at our landing site. Unless we like send a mapping satellite. Oh, I don't want to send another satellite. I spent an entire episode sending satellites. The Gigantors have glitchy plumes. Whoa, that's so cool. It looks like a bird. This should definitely have like a bird name. So this, currently, I have it called the ESREP 2, which is based off of, some of you might be familiar with a story I wrote a long time ago on the Kerbal forums called Project Intrepid. ESREP stands for Evian Self-Refueling Exploration Plane, and in the story, I didn't really get very far before I abandoned the story. Well, it's not completely abandoned. I intend to go back to it at some point, but I don't know when. Anyway, so the ESREP was like an airline type thing on Eve during the second Eve expedition. And I couldn't think of anything better to name it in the spaceflight hangar, so I just called it ESREP 2, because this is basically the same thing like that, except smaller, and actually maybe even better. Because, like, in the Project Intrepid ESREP was, like, horrible to, like, land. This might be horrible to land as well, but we haven't, like, tested it yet. One thing that could be awful about this, I really need to find a good spot to land. And I need it to do on the first try, because if, like, I'm coming down to mountain, it's a glider, I can't exactly, like, change my landing site if it's like, oh no, there's hills here. 50 meters per second. 40 meters, oh, okay. Ooh, what exploded? Converted. Okay, so we lost the thing that allows us to convert ore into fuel. And on Eve, it's probably going to be worse because of the higher gravity. And our landing gear is bouncing. So add bigger, stronger landing gear to the wings. And strut up that convertitron. And set all of the brakes on these to a higher value. Yeah, that doesn't look healthy. Supposedly, they fixed the landing gear in this version. But they've said that like 15 other times. The landing gear in Kerbal Space Organa has kind of just always been awful. There, the next size up. Let's add some struts to this thing so it doesn't break off as easily. Telling you at least what kind of ore I'm getting, even if I won't be able to do anything about it. Brakes 200. I don't see how air brakes will help, so I'm not going to add them. A ladder would probably be a good idea. And I should probably set action groups up for this stuff. Okay, now it's kind of back heavy-ish. Whatever, it's gonna be fine. So, throttle up and take off. Surprisingly easy to take off with this thing. And like, it's actually very surprisingly maneuverable. That's not healthy. Why is this one going in further than that one? I don't know. The thing I want to do at some point, assuming this works well on Eve and can actually go a significant distance, I want to try and explore the North Pole a bit, because I have that VTOL craft. I've been to the North Pole of Eve once with like a glider plane, and it is crazy there. Like, on Moho you have like that giant pit at the North Pole, on Eve you have a giant mountain, and it's super cool. This is where air brakes would be useful. Slowing down, because this thing is not great at slowing down. Hopefully we can be gentle enough this time and not break off the ISRU. And at about 50-60 meters per second we touch down. Okay, those big landing gear are behaving quite better, but then again with Eve's stronger gravity it might not like work. Okay, extend solar panels. Deploy the mining equipment. Now, how long will it take for us to refill this? 2 days? 3 days? 3 days to refuel this thing? That's amazing. What percentage of ore did we have here? 5%, that's actually kind of high. I don't know how much I'll find on Eve. So fix the action groups for that, add an action group for starting and stopping the drill. And let's say we can like precision land back at KSC. Also in 1.12 they made it so that the faster you're going, the less the wheels will turn, which is great for high speed takeoffs. I just wish there was a way to toggle it. Because like for low speed turns, like if I'm going like 10 meters per second, I still want to turn at full speed instead of like really slowly. Like I want a constant turn radius so I can actually turn in a decent amount of space, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, so in this bay up here is where I'm going to have the VTOL plane I tested earlier. And I should probably test it with it inside. But what am I, wise? The other thing I'm worried about with this is getting it down to Eve. Actually, this is way too high. I'm gonna actually... Oh, okay, our tail is broken off. So, note to self, don't do super aggressive maneuvers like that. Can we save it? Like, I mean, obviously I just reload a quick save if I was actually on Eve. But like, I need to have some fun. Can I save it by pumping the fuel forwards? Because I still have pit surfaces. Like, in terms of these, they're just not that effective. Okay, we are able to pull out of the dive. And maybe we can even make it to KSC. Okay, we've used a quarter of our remaining delta V from when we were over there, so we should be fine. In fact, we might even have enough fuel to do a go-around if we need to. And in case you're wondering, this little landing gear back here isn't like to land on it, just in case I pull up so harshly that like a tail strike doesn't destroy my engines. Development of that is complete. See you later. Thanks for watching. See you later. Ultimate Steve out.